All right, buckle up, Buttercups, because if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four movie, you're in for a bumpy ride. Because we got to talk about this movie because this is an interesting movie. This is an interestingly weird movie because for what it is and for what it's supposed to be, it works. It works, and I'll get to this. The problem is it doesn't work as a Fantastic Four movie because it's not supposed to be a Fantastic Four movie. I, Forget it being a good Fantastic Four movie. It's not even supposed to be or meant to be a Fantastic Four movie. Hell, it's barely supposed to be or meant to be a superhero movie. Now I know, what the hell is this guy talking about? Let me explain. When I first found out that there was going to be a Fantastic Four movie and it was taking place before the Secret Wars movie, I went, what's the point? Because for those of you who don't know, according to what I understand, the Secret Wars movie is going to be rebooting the entire MCU, and they're going to be starting from scratch or starting all over again. Well, if that's what's going to happen, putting the Fantastic Four movie before the Secret Wars movie is just making this Fantastic Four movie a throwaway movie, because after the Secret Wars movie, everything's going to be rebooted. So this Fantastic Four team is basically a throwaway team. Unless in the events of the Secret Wars movie, somehow this particular group of Fantastic Four sticks around, but I don't know how it's supposed to work. But again, going based off of the whole reboot, this Fantastic Four isn't even going to be sticking around. Then I find out that it's going to be this Fantastic Four movie is taking place in an alternate universe, which means it's not even part of the MCU, main MCU storyline. So this is even more of a throwaway movie than I had originally anticipated, because that's the problem with this movie. It's a throwaway Fantastic Four. For all of you who are hating on, what's his face, the guy that plays Reed Richards, big deal. It's a one-off movie. Anyway, so because of all of this, I'm more curious in what is going to be happening with this movie as opposed to the actual movie itself. Because even though I'm a big Silver Surfer fanboy, it's not really the Silver Surfer, it's an alternate universe Silver Surfer, and even though I'm a Galactus fanboy, it's an alternate universe Galactus, so I don't really care. And so I'm watching this movie, and this is funny because you'll get the joke. Once after it's announced, after Sue announces that she's pregnant, and they tell Johnny and they tell Ben, there's this like 1 or 2 minute montage of them baby proofing the house. And I'm going, okay, I guess it's kind of funny, but why is this movie, what's the word I'm looking for? Dedicating this much screen time to just baby proofing the house? Like, are they padding the movie? Whatever. And it's funny because after that scene, you're going, if you thought the 1 or 2 minutes of them baby proofing the house was a lot of discussion about Franklin Richards, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because that's the movie. The whole point of this movie isn't about the Fantastic Four. They're just the setup. They're just the excuse. This isn't supposed to be a Fantastic Four movie. This is all about introducing Franklin Richards. That's it. That's the whole point of this movie, because the Fantastic Four movie is setting up Franklin Richards so that they could eventually set up the Secret Wars movie. This entire movie, like, to give you an example, this movie doesn't even have to have the Human Torch, and Ben. All it needs is Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Why? So that way, Franklin Richards can be introduced. This movie doesn't even need a supervillain because it's not about the Fantastic Four. It's not about, hey, look at this Fantastic Four movie or characters, because we're throwing this movie away anyway after the reboot. So it's not even about the Fantastic Four. They don't even have to fight a supervillain. This movie, the whole point of this movie is just to introduce Franklin Richards. Everything else is just window dressing. This movie, this entire Fantastic Four movie, could be reduced to a 30-second end credit scene. At the end of Thunderbolts, there could have been a 30-second end credit scene where you see this alternate universe Fantastic Four world, right? But all you see is Reed Richards and Sue Storm, and they're dressed up in their Fantastic Four outfits. So that way, you know, the casuals and the other 90% of you would know who the hell they are. And Sue simply goes up to Reed and goes, Reed, I'm pregnant. Reed goes, oh my God, he's all happy, he's excited, he's hugging her. And as Reed is hugging Sue, he goes, you know what, we should call him Franklin. Boom, that's it. End of the credit scene. That's the whole point of this movie. This entire Fantastic Four movie could easily have been reduced to a 30-second end credit scene because it's all about introducing Franklin Richards. Because I'm going, okay, I like the Galactus and I like Silver Surfer. I prefer the actual Silver Surfer, not an alternate universe Silver Surfer, but whatever. And I'm going, despite the fact that I like Galactus, why is Galactus their first villain? It doesn't make any sense. You'd think, you know, the Mole Man or Doctor Doom or some of the other super, like, again, they don't really have great super villains in the old, in the Silver Age, but why would Galactus be their villain, the villain of the movie? Because I'm thinking, oh, I'm guessing it's because since nobody's really interested in the Fantastic Four, Disney is going, well, we're not going to be able to get anybody to come see the Fantastic Four movie because nobody really cares about the Fantastic Four. Maybe they'll come see a Fantastic Four movie to see Galactus. Because it sure as hell isn't to see the Silver Surfer, because it wasn't the Silver Surfer, it was, you know, Shia LaBeouf. But here's the thing. This is the reason Galactus is the big bad of the movie. So that way, because of one line, and that's Galactus going, this child has cosmic powers. That's it. That's the entire point of Galactus being in this movie, so that Galactus can let the audience know Franklin Richards has cosmic powers. Here's the crazy part. Galactus's entire relevance could have been replaced with some machine that Reed Richards invents that, you know, because they were all, you know, hit by the cosmic rays. Reed wants to see if, you know, Franklin may very well be affected by the cosmic rays. So he builds some, you know, Deus Ex Machina doohickey that can check to see if Franklin Richards was affected by any cosmic rays, and he turns it on, and it just goes off and it just spikes off the chart. That's it. That little doohickey literally replaces the entire point that Galactus was in this movie in the first place. That's why it didn't matter that it wasn't the real Silver Surfer. That's why it could be Shia LaBeouf, because these are throwaway characters. Their relevance their being in this movie has no relevance. I mean, you take Shia LaBeouf as the Silver Surfer, right? There's at least a dozen times where Shia LaBeouf could have easily have captured and grabbed Franklin Richards and brought her back to Galactus. And then, but you can't do that because then you can't have the movie. Because the whole point of the movie is having Franklin Richards be introduced and, is around for Doctor Doom to be able to, use to create the Secret Wars movie. So this is an incredibly incompetent Silver Surfer, or alternate universe Silver Surfer. So the fact that it's not Norrin Radd is actually a blessing, because if they actually made Norrin Radd that useless, I'd have been more pissed off. So because it's a fake alternate universe Silver Surfer, yeah, she can be as useless and incompetent as this movie wants it to be. Same thing with Galactus. They can make this Galactus be as useless and incompetent as they want him to be, because it's an alternate universe Galactus. I mean, come on. You have, Sue Storm literally taking on Galactus one-on-one. This is not, there's no way I'm taking this seriously. Oh, and then there's that other thing with Galactus. I love this scene, because Galactus ends up finding out that, he scans the Fantastic Four and realizes that, Franklin Richards is, born or whatever. And he tells him to come visit him. So you have the Fantastic Four standing right in front of Galactus. And Galactus decides to make them a deal. Go, give me the baby and I'll spare your world. And I'm going, why would Galactus do that? Why wouldn't Galactus just do both? Why wouldn't Galactus just take the baby and eat the Earth? Like, he doesn't need to actually make a bargain with them. But that bullshit bargain only exists so that way there's a reason for them to go back. This is such a joke of a movie. And, again, the Fantastic Four are literally standing right in front of Galactus. Galactus could have used his cosmic powers to just, cause Sue to automatically give birth and just cast them into space and die. There's literally nothing they could do against Galactus, but because it's an alternate universe Galactus and you got a bunch of morons writing this movie, they're going to have Galactus be as incompetent and useless as possible so that they can have their dumbass story. Because again, that's the point. This story is as useless and as ridiculous as it is because it's irrelevant. So why actually take the writing of this story seriously when the entire point of this movie is just introducing Franklin Richards, have him establish that he has cosmic powers, and everything else is just window dressing? That's why this movie doesn't work as a Fantastic Four movie, because it's not supposed to be or meant to be a Fantastic Four movie. It's just, the Fantastic Four is just backdrop. The whole, the other thing, don't watch the Fantastic Four movie to actually see the Fantastic Four. Come see the Fantastic Four movie because of the 60s Art Deco style of the world. I've seen some of your reviews. I've seen some of you people who love this movie. You're more fascinated and more your enjoyment of this movie isn't even the Fantastic Four. It's all about how you love the 60s Art Deco style. You don't even love the characters. Because there's nothing to love. Ben hardly does anything. Johnny Storm really doesn't do anything. Reed Richards is just nervous all the time. It's Sue Storm that actually does anything of any relevance. But that's why I'm saying this movie doesn't work. This Fantastic Four movie doesn't work as a Fantastic Four movie because it's not meant to be a Fantastic Four movie. This movie could literally have it that for an hour and a half, okay, for the first 5 minutes, of the movie, you see Sue go to Reed. Reed, I'm pregnant. Reed goes, oh my God, that's amazing. Let's call him Franklin Richards. And then for the next hour and a half, Reed builds a device that shows how full of cosmic power Franklin Richards is. The rest of the movie could simply be all of them just sitting down watching TV, and the movie would still serve its purpose, because the purpose of the movie is to simply introduce Franklin Richards and establish that he has cosmic powers. The rest of the movie could just be them sitting down watching a movie, and guess what? The point of the movie still stands. Like, at the beginning of the movie, you have that little montage of their greatest adventures or their adventures. Well, the reason they had that montage is twofold. One is because we're not making a movie about their adventures. We don't give a damn. We don't care about their adventures. This is a throwaway movie. This is Marvel telling you, fans of this movie, this is a throwaway movie, morons. This is a meaningless movie. We're taking the idea of introducing Franklin Richards, and instead of making it a 30-second end credit scene, we're gonna see if we can make a movie out of it and get your money. That's all it is. And that montage in the beginning, that was literally designed to be put in the trailer, so that way all of us watching the trailer will think, oh, we're going to see their adventures. No. That entire montage at the beginning was to fool everybody into thinking it's going to be an action-packed movie where we're going to see, the Fantastic Four take on so many, villains. Instead, it's a lie to get you in. And second of all, it's like, yeah, we don't really care about telling a story about the Fantastic Four, so here's a montage to go, look, see the heroes, here's the references. Look, the Mole Man. Oddly enough, the Mole Man character was my favorite character, because I love how later, halfway through the movie or whatever, I forget that little discussion they had. He was like, I love how we ripped apart everybody. It was great. I like this character. I sure as hell didn't like the Fantastic Four. I sure as hell didn't like Galactus, and I sure as hell didn't like the Silver Surfer, Shia LaBeouf. So all I had left, I'm going, movie, give me somebody to like. And the best they could give me was the Mole Man, and he had like a 1 minute scene. But yeah, sorry fans of this movie, it's not a Fantastic Four movie. The only reason it's a Fantastic Four movie is because they need to introduce the Fantastic Four so that they could introduce Franklin Richards. Once Franklin Richards has been introduced, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben are now irrelevant. They're irrelevant. They now have no value in the MCU as it stands. And, even after. So yeah, you can love this movie. You can enjoy this movie, and it was a fun little movie, as long as you ignored all the brain dead stupid that was necessary for this movie to actually happen. I mean, why is Galactus going to Earth? To actually, Galactus is literally going to Earth physically to do what? Physically take Franklin Richards? That's what the Silver Surfer's for. At any time, the Silver Surfer can just go on Earth, use his cosmic powers, freeze the entire Fantastic Four, grab Franklin Richards, and take him back to Galactus. Done. But the movie can't do that. The movie can't actually have this Silver Surfer be competent, so they have to have it that the Silver Surfer is a constant screw up, so that way Galactus has to come to Earth physically. Like, this is so stupid. It really is. This was written by people who have... This movie was written by people whose only knowledge of these characters are from memes. That's it. They saw a bunch of memes of these characters and goes, okay, we'll base our characters off of this, because there's no knowledge of what these characters can do. I mean, there's that one scene where the Silver Surfer, right, or Shia LaBeouf, is chasing the Fantastic Four in that ship, right? Now, they're at faster than light speed. They jump to FTL speed, right? And the Silver Surfer, sorry, the Shala Bal is keeping time with them. She is literally keeping up with them at faster than light speed. That's how fast Shala Bal is. That she can go as fast as faster than light speed. As soon as they jump out of the FTL, right, and they're back into normal speed, suddenly Shala Bal can't keep up with them anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? You just showed that Shala Bal, I mean before, because she ended up getting, yeah, even after. Before and after, you have Shala Bal only being able to go this fast, going this fast. Because if they have to have Shala Bal going this fast, otherwise Shala Bal will be able to capture Franklin Richards or the Fantastic Four. But then they go into faster than light speed. So now, to be able to have it so that Shala Bal can keep up, she went from having this amount of speed and then suddenly having this amount of speed. So that way she could still follow them going faster than light travel. But then once they stop getting out of faster than light travel, the movie goes, okay, we have to have Shala Bal go back to this speed. This is so stupid. There is nothing about this. There is nothing about the way Silver Surfer and Galactus is portrayed that makes any sense. Even if you don't know anything about the characters, the way the Silver Surfer and Galactus, the way Shala Bal and Galactus is portrayed in this movie doesn't make any sense. Even with the little information that this movie gives you, it still doesn't make any sense. So the only way you can actually enjoy this movie is if you shut your brain off to all of the brain dead. The only way you can enjoy this movie is if you're too stupid to understand all of the stupid that's happening in this movie. Not you notice the stupid and you're just choosing to ignore it. I wish that was the case. But what you guys have proven is that you don't even know it's stupid and have chosen to ignore the stupid. You don't even know that they're stupid in this movie to even ignore in the first place. And this is why explaining the stupid in this movie, well, not just this movie, but pretty much all of the movies that I have to explain the stupid in, is so arduous. Because not only do I have to point out the stupid, I have to then spend time explaining to you morons why it's stupid, because just pointing it out isn't going to help you idiots. But I digress. The point is, this movie is even more full of stupid than normal because, again, it's a throwaway movie, so it doesn't matter if it's full of stupid. Try to understand it. Try to understand this. This Fantastic Four movie is a 30-second clip that Marvel tried to turn into a movie. That's it. The main reason this Fantastic Four movie doesn't work as a Fantastic Four movie is because it's a 30-second end credit scene that Disney and Marvel decided to try to make into a movie. And there was enough of you morons that went, yeah, Marvel, that's good enough for you. It's good enough for you. I mean, how? If you guys are the same morons that didn't have a problem with the Superman movie not being Superman, why would you care about a Fantastic Four movie that's not even about the Fantastic Four? You just saw pretty colors. You just saw pretty lights. You saw pretty colors on the screen, and you were happy. Anyway. Got that out of my system. I'm good. See, that's the thing, is that it used to be that I actually cared and gave a damn about these movies. So when any of these movies were full of brain dead stupid, I had to vent and rant about all of the stupid and why the movies didn't work. But it's gotten long past the point where I don't even care anymore. These movies being full of brain dead stupid is quite literally an expectation. Anyway. Yeah, so in a nut, because again, I could keep going, but in a nutshell, that's why the Fantastic Four movie doesn't work, because it's not a movie that was designed and made to be a movie about the Fantastic Four and go, hey, look, here's the Fantastic Four. This is our new IP that we're trying to make, a series out of it and integrate into the MCU. No, they're not doing that. So it's a throwaway movie that is literally meant to just be the starting point for Secret Wars. So sorry, I would expect that people would want more from a movie than just that. But apparently there are enough of you fans of this movie that go, yeah, you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. You're not Disney, Marvel. You can give us nothing, and we'll be happy, and you'll be happy. So, and you know what? You can enjoy. And I want this to be understood. You can enjoy this movie for whatever dumbass reasons you like this movie. Okay? You can enjoy this movie. It's not that you're not allowed to like this movie. I'm not saying you're not allowed to like this movie. You're allowed to like this movie. You're allowed to like any movie for whatever reason you want to like this movie. But don't expect me not to mock you and ridicule you and call you out on how stupid you are for actually liking the movie for the dumbass, brain dead, stupid reasons that you do. Anyway, is there anything else I wanted to cover? No, I think I pretty much did. Again, there's still other stupid I could probably cover, but I ain't going back and watching the movie to cover any more of the stupid because I don't care enough. It's bad enough I had to sit through that dumbass movie once. But again, once I had heard Galactus say, this child has cosmic powers, I could have walked out of the movie theater. Technically, you could have walked out. Once Sue told Reed that she's pregnant, you could have walked out of the movie and you wouldn't have missed anything. You wouldn't have missed anything because nothing that happened after that was actually worth watching because it was all brain dead stupid, plot holes, bullshit stupid to be able to get from point to point. That's a great way of establishing how useless and how this movie doesn't work. You could literally have walked out of this movie after Sue told Reed she was pregnant, and the point of the movie was done. The point of the movie was done. For extra credit, you could have stayed until Galactus had said, this child is filled with cosmic powers, and then you could have left, and you wouldn't have missed anything. You just would have missed pretty lights. Because you sure as hell weren't going to miss any story. But then again, it's not like you morons that care about story anyway. Like you guys have standards. Anyway, ranted enough, rambled enough, got out of my system. Oh, and for those of you who might be going, why did I take so long before I made the video? I'm playing a CRPG, and problem with me is I get obsessed, and all I care about is playing the game, and I couldn't care less about anything that happens outside the game. So I took a break from the game, and I went, oh crap, people have been bugging me for the Fantastic Four video, so I finally got around to making the Fantastic Four video. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a CRPG to continue playing. That's it for me. I'm out of here. See ya.